Israel has launched a ground offensive in Gaza City, escalating the conflict amid rising casualties, international criticism, and ongoing calls for a ceasefire. Israel expanded its ground invasion of Gaza City on Tuesday, with 2 divisions advancing and a third expected to join the operation. This escalation follows weeks of intense airstrikes that have reduced entire apartment blocks to rubble. Gaza City, home to hundreds of thousands of Palestinian residents, remains under siege as Israel intensifies its efforts to dismantle Hamas military infrastructure. Amid the ground offensive and rising casualties, residents in the city were urgently warned to evacuate and head south for their safety. Images from the Israel-Gaza border on Tuesday showed thick plumes of smoke rising above Gaza City, marking the escalation of military activity. The city has endured intense bombardments, and early reports indicate at least 20 Palestinians have been killed, with 90 more wounded after a strike hit several homes in a western neighborhood. Shifa Hospital in Gaza reported receiving the bodies of the deceased, with doctors describing a night of continuous bombings that left many bodies still buried under the rubble. The ongoing violence exacerbates the already dire humanitarian crisis, with famine conditions reported in the city due to Israeli aid restrictions. The military operation has prompted a wave of protests from the families of Israeli hostages still held in Gaza. Families gathered outside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's residence, calling for an immediate halt to the offensive to ensure the safe return of their loved ones. Some hostages, including children, have been used as human shields, which has intensified calls for a ceasefire. While Israel believes many hostages are still alive, Hamas has demanded the release of Palestinian prisoners in exchange for their freedom. A United Nations Commission of Inquiry has accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza, with the report stating that top Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, have orchestrated a genocidal campaign with the intent to destroy the Palestinian group in Gaza. The Commission's findings, based on acts of mass killings, forced displacement, aid blockages, and destruction, have been described as direct evidence of genocidal intent. However, Israel has strongly refuted the report, calling it scandalous and fake, and dismissing it as biased and authored by Hamas proxies. The war, which began after the October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas, has resulted in over 64,000 Palestinian deaths and widespread famine, while Israel continues to defend its actions as part of its right to self-defense. International reaction continues to grow, with Egypt, a longtime mediator in the Israel-Palestine conflict, becoming increasingly critical of Israel's actions. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi referred to Israel as an enemy for the first time since the two countries signed a peace treaty in 1979. This rhetoric marks a significant shift in Egypt's stance and signals growing frustration over Israel's military campaign in Gaza. As the violence intensifies, global diplomatic efforts continue, but a ceasefire remains elusive as the humanitarian crisis